Patch 7.3 of Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail is here, it's out, we got it, but we also have some patch notes. Let's break them down as fast as we possibly can. Hello everyone, I am Jmulls, and we have a lot to go over. So let's break it down and find out what Patch 7.3 has to offer.
Alexandrians.
Okay, let's blow through this. New MSQ, we have 10 quests in total, the first one being called Targeted Tragedy. Next up, we have the Echo Savannah deal, the Alliance raid, based in Final Fantasy XI. We have 4 quests associated with that, alongside, well, the Alliance raid. They're adding a new tutorial screen for various quests that have different objectives. Hopefully this is a sign of things to come, that maybe we can get some more quest variety in the game, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. There is a new treasure map, Gargantua Skin. We have a new treasure map called Gargantua Skin, with a new instance, Vault 1 Iron as I like to call it. And it's based on a slot machine. We have new housing furnishing from the contests, specifically in 2022. They look pretty cool. I wouldn't use most of them, but I may end up using the weight bench. I like the color scheme. We have new glamour available for MGP with the t-shirts, and what I think are cargo shorts, and we have new character voices for Doma and Mahjong, Wukulmat, Kona, and Bakul Janja. I'm sure everyone was waiting for those. But on top of that, we have a new duty support for Cutter's Cry for A Realm Reborn, and don't forget, we have a new dungeon in this patch, the Meso Terminal, with a few changes to the Wondrous Tales and the types of duties there, but also, if you want clarification for what duties apply to a specific category in the Wondrous Tales, they'll tell you a list of applicable duties for that thing. You can see dungeons level 1 to 49, they tell you what all the dungeons are. Neat little change. Viera and Rothgar have new hairstyles. I play a Highlander, so I'm just waiting for beard options, and bangs are now viewable through hoods. Huzzah! And way more headgear items are now available to be displayed when you're on Viera and Rothgar. And if you play a Viera specifically, you now have a toggle to allow your ears to be shown through headgear or not. A bunch of emotes can now be used while you're sitting.
Alexandrians.
When it comes to job changes, there's no big rework or anything. It's largely just adjusting AoE and buffing and nerfing across the board. However, Reaper sees the Enshroud recast timer go from 15 seconds to 5. And the funny thing is, Viper's like one of the only ones that actually gets nerfed in the AoE department, with its reduction in potency after the first target being increased, whereas most of the other jobs see that number getting decreased for a lot of their abilities. And whereas for the other jobs, it's either a straight up buff or nerf, for Pictomancer, the story's a little bit different. They have a variety of both, and what they're seemingly trying to do here is move the damage from the rest of their kit and focusing it more on the hammer window. So a lot of abilities get nerfed, but the hammer abilities get buffed. And then the AoE for a lot of the healer abilities gets increased, whether that be from 15 to 20 yalms or 20 to 30. And to go alongside that, they've essentially reworked Phoenix Downs. They're more in line with what you actually expect a Phoenix Down to do in a Final Fantasy game, and you can use them in a lot of the duties this game has to offer, just not all of them. And you can actually purchase these things now. Alongside all of this, they're adding a progress bar underneath the nameplates of certain enemies, and they're toying with the idea of extending this idea to bosses in public areas like large-scale fates, because as of right now, it only applies to bosses and powerful foes in instance content. I would personally like to see this feature available across the board for every enemy. Just have it be a toggle. And we have a new dungeon and trial for the patch. The Meso Terminal is the dungeon, and they have not revealed the name of the trial yet. They're keeping a lot of their cards close to their chest when it comes to the MSQ this go around. But the Unreal trial is the Wreath of Snakes. They've also buffed the drop rate for the Wings of Eternity in the Minstrel's Ballad, Fiend's Burden, and the weekly restriction on rewards in the Cruiserweight division of the Arcadian, well, that's been removed. And when it comes to equestrian rolls from the new Alliance raid, out of the treasure coffers, you can just loot something called a tattered second movement score. And in Lower Juno, there'll be a goblin you can trade them for specific equestrian rolls of your choosing.
Alexandrians.
They've incorporated the changes they talked about for the Occult Crescent South Horn. So if you go in with an alliance of 24 people, you'll get a fresh new instance, and if you want to go into the Fork Tower, you're going to need 24 people to put in a Sanguine Cipher. They've updated the window for when you use a Sanguine Cipher as well, and if you want to be eligible to be selected into the Fork Tower, you need to put in a Sanguine Cipher. And if there's currently a critical engagement up, they'll push off the Aurora Mirage until after it's done. And if you're a new player or you just haven't done a duty yet, you won't be put into a duty that's already in progress if you haven't cleared it before, just to prevent the problem of new players being put like midway through a dungeon or a raid that they haven't done before, so they don't get an incomplete experience. There's a bunch of PvP adjustments. I don't do PvP in this game, so I can't really tell you what any of these mean, but a noble intention, in my opinion, is the following adjustments have been made to improve the visibility of PvP action effects. So they've adjusted a bunch of different actions in the hope of making them more visually apparent in PvP. Old PvP Series rewards will now be available for exchange, and Series 8 will end and Series 9 shall begin. And we also have a new arena, the Bayside Battleground, blending the aesthetics of Tural and Alexandria. We're getting new items as well, kind of continuing the theme of me being largely disinterested with glamour this expansion, but there's a couple of sets here that look kind of nice. Same here, they'll have an audience, just that audience isn't me. A lot more items now have 2 dye channels, and I mean a lot of them. I notice a lot of gear here looks like it comes from Eureka, by the way, but I'm not joking when I say a lot of items. That list was still going. It is a big list, going all the way back up here, yeah. Personally speaking, all new gear that is added to the game should have 2 dye channels, and if they don't, I don't understand why, unless it's some very niche case.
Alexandrians.
And we have a lot of changes for Cosmic Exploration. Now you can just travel to Sinus Ardorum from the Aetheryte in the Best Ways Burrow instead of finding that one rabbit to go to. You can also use mounts there, which is kinda nice. They added a summoning bell there. I don't know how that wasn't a thing to begin with. And since it's about to become old content, since in like patch 7.31 we're gonna go to the new zone, they've just made it easier and more accessible across the board. For instance, all ratings now give you the same amount of experience for Stellar missions. And if you complete a mission that can be accepted by multiple classes, all of those classes will earn points towards their cosmic class score. And a nice little addition is they changed the UI for when you accept stellar missions to indicate how close the site for that mission is to you. So it'll tell you if it's close, such as nearby, far, or very far. And they'll just always tell you what the requirement for Gold Star is from now on, instead of like how it was before where you had to like get bronze, then silver, then you can find out what you need for gold. There's just a lot of UI changes pretty much across the board. And like I said, tinkering with the mechanics here and there, such as upon completing gathering stellar missions, you will recover GP equal to the total amount spent during the mission, and upon completing gathering stellar missions, the recast timer of GP recovery items, such as cordials, will be reset. So you don't have to spend a bunch of time waiting around for GP, you can just go from mission to mission. They've also relaxed a lot of the timers in Cosmic Exploration. There are a lot of changes here for Cosmic Exploration. They've gone over quite a few of these in the live letters, and Yoshi P talked about in that Famitsu interview we covered on the channel, that when we get to the new planet, the new location of Cosmic Exploration, they've altered their design philosophy for a lot of the actual content there. I'm imagining it's still gonna feel like Cosmic Exploration, right? It's just tinkering things here and there. We also have new mounts here. Insert your Steve Irwin jokes here as well. I can imagine we get a lot of funny scenes with the torch accessory. That's a really cool one to add. And we have new faceware on top of graphical updates across the board, such as improving the graphical details for the following gear, all of this stuff, a lot of the Mandeville items, and the list just keeps going. And we have chat bubbles. They're chat bubbles. We do not need to spend like 30 minutes like they do each live letter summarizing what a chat bubble is. It's a little bubble above your head with chat in it. You can customize them a bit as well if you want. If that's your preference, there you go. They've also increased the display range for players and monsters in the following areas: cities, fields, housing areas, the firmament, Mandeville Gold Saucer, Cosmic Exploration areas, Occult Crescent, and instanced events. You now have 3 display ranges you can choose between: normal, extended, and maximum. Now, from what I recall in the live letter when they talked about this doesn't increase the number of things you see, it's just the overall range. We have new adventure plate accents, we have new stuff added to group pose, chromatic aberration, alongside a filter intensity slider, and also a portrait mode, and some adjustment to the blacklist. And I'll just read this one out. While measures were implemented in patch 7.2 to make it more difficult to confirm or reference portions of character IDs not normally visible during gameplay, further adjustments have been made in patch 7.3. As a result, certain locally stored client data will be reset. We apologize for any inconvenience caused and ask for your understanding as we introduce these measures. So blacklist comments saved between patch 7.0 and 0.2 have been deleted, and all information registered on the mute list has been deleted as well. But from now on, mute list information will be registered on a per character basis. Blacklist registration for players on your contact list is now only possible while you remain logged in.
Alexandrians.
So those are my personal highlights for the patch notes of patch 7.3 of Final Fantasy XIV Dawntrail. Leave a comment down below with your thoughts, your opinions, your perspectives. I'd love to hear them. And if you want to hear all my thoughts, my reactions to patch 7.3 as I dive into it on stream later today, the MSQ, the Alliance raid, everything it has to offer, that piques my curiosity, you should leave a like and subscribe. Follow me on TikTok, Twitch, and Twitter, Jmulls G. I have a Discord in the description down below. And guys, we're going to see if my take ages well or poorly. Because right now, before I dive into patch 7.3, I am rather optimistic for the future of Final Fantasy XIV. And if you want to hear my thoughts as to why, you should check out this video right here. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great day, and I'll see you all next time. Bye-bye, everybody. Until we meet again.